We'll use that for later. You guys get inside access into all our traffic data, the behind the scenes.
Contrast between your competitors helps.
Yeah. Certainly. I am going to stand up here and just do it this way. All right, so let me first start off by introducing myself. My name is Bill Kaufman. I'm actually based out of New York City. I have a team of 5 that travel around the East Coast meeting, presenting to groups like yourself, meeting with top brokers, talking about how agents are successful on Zillow. Let me give you just a short little background. I was actually a broker in your shoes for 2 years down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've been on your side of the table when it comes to that. So I have a different perspective than some of my colleagues at Zillow who have never actually been in the field. With that being said, let's dive right into it. Let's talk about consumers. There's a fundamental belief here at Zillow that we believe the real estate transaction will never change. It won't change a year from now, it won't change 5 years from now, or 50 years from now. We believe consumers will always need an agent to help them buy a home and sell a home, all right? And ultimately, our goal at Zillow is to build that real estate marketplace where we bring that buyer and that seller to the site, and then when they're ready to transact, we're connecting them with you, the local agent. Let's talk about today's consumers. 91% of all citizens in the US have a smartphone within arm's length. Who uses it as an alarm clock? I know I do, right? It's nothing new. With that being said, consumers are searching on mobile now. 70% of Zillow's traffic comes from an iPad, iPhone, or Android device. So here, as we sit in 2015, you really need to take a hard look at what your mobile strategy is, so you're connecting to that consumer and you're in front of them 24/7. Consumers are impatient. They want their question and their problem solved yesterday, right? So you need to be right there in front of them at all times. Here's an interesting statistic. 25% of the people leave a web page if it doesn't take 4 seconds or shorter to load. All right? So what we're doing at Zillow is we're trying to build the best consumer experience when someone is searching for real estate online. And then once they're ready to pull the trigger and reach out to a local agent, we're connecting them with you. Today's consumer does their homework. We all know this. Zillow is based on data, providing 110 million homes across the country and providing all types of data points so that people can research and do their homework. A lot of times when they call you up, they already know where they're looking, what price range they want. You just need to be the local agent to facilitate the transaction. Any questions on how consumers are shopping nowadays? Wes?
Your opinion, you're saying that mobile, everyone's going to mobile, so when we get a phone call saying, hey, do you want to be on our website? From a Zillow advertising person, maybe should we always choose mobile? Is that what you're saying? So we have the choice.
In terms of talking about mobile versus website, 10 years ago, where you wanted to spend your ad budget was on Google AdWords or SEO, because someone was going to Google and they were searching on their desktop computer homes in Highland Park. All right. Now what they're doing is they see the Zillow commercial, or they just happen to go on Zillow. They like the consumer experience of shopping for a home on Zillow. They download the app on their phone, and now every search that they do from there on out is within the mobile app. And this kind of goes back to like the competitors in the marketplace, Trulia, Realtor.com. When that consumer downloads that mobile app, they're searching within that platform till they reach out to an agent. 2/3 of our audience never goes to Trulia to search for a home, and 50% of their audience never goes to Zillow to search for a home. So that's how specific it is. And so once that consumer picks the platform that they're searching on, that's where your face and your contact information needs to be to capture that new lead, essentially. Great question. Now, I will touch a little bit further on about listing accuracy and listing data. Once you capture that new lead from Zillow, it's important that you put them in your pipeline and your way of them searching, so that you take them off the platform and you keep and maintain that relationship and that lead till you're at the closing table. So this is coming from the recent NAR study on home buyers and home sellers. First step in a home search, 42% of the people are obviously going to the internet. 17% are actually reaching out directly to an agent that they may know or get a referral from a family and friend to start their search. 10, 15 years ago, those numbers were obviously flipped upside down. And then let's talk about just how the people are using the internet. 90% of them that start online, 90% of them are reaching out to an agent for help. All right. You can see, obviously, newspapers have been going down, about a 5% decline over the past 4 years. About 24% of people start their search looking in a newspaper ad. All right. So why is Zillow popular with consumers? Helps consumers research their needs and inform their decisions. We started out as a living database. When Zillow got started, there was not a single for sale listing on the site. We wanted to compile data. We have 110 million homes, and it's a real estate marketplace bringing buyers, sellers, renters, and homeowners directly to the professionals that can help them transact in the marketplace: real estate agents, mortgage providers, property managers, and then our home contractors. Now, talking a little bit more about mobile. Again, 70% of our traffic on the weekends is directly related from a mobile search. In July of this year, 212 homes across this country were viewed on Zillow every single second. Think about that for a second. 212 homes every single second. And so when we talk about where we're going to put you in front of these consumers, 2 years ago, we made a shift where every single product and advertising innovation is mobile designed so that you're getting in front of those people where they're searching. Obviously, consumers love the data, like I mentioned. Includes everything about the home, neighborhood attributes. We have the partnership with great schools that talk about the school districts in the area, the financing calculators for a lot of first-time home buyers when they're thinking about purchasing and what they can afford. And then our favorite part about Zillow, right? The Zestimate. So to give you a couple of tips when you're talking with your homeowners or you're on a listing presentation and they bring up the Zestimate. The Zestimate is a computer-generated algorithm, and they don't walk the homes, they don't walk the neighborhood, it doesn't know the comps, all right? So a couple of things. The Zestimate is really made up of 3 things. One, it's going to be the tax data that we pull from the county. So if there's any issues with the square footage, bedroom, bathrooms that we're pulling from the tax data, you're going to want to update that, and our Zestimate will then refresh with that updated information. All right. Second thing is the recent comps in the area that are reflective on Zillow, not necessarily that may be reflected in the MLS. And then the third is the physical attributes of the home. So if there's a recent renovation of the kitchen or the bathrooms, if there's an addition to the house, that might not be reflected in the Zestimate. And so as the homeowner, they can go in and update all that information and then update the Zestimate. Nationally right now, and this again is another stat that you can provide to your homeowners, or your potential sellers, the median error for this estimate is about 8.3, 8.4%. So 50% of the homes are below that, within that range. The other 50% are above that. And that's really where you see the outliers, where they're 20, 30% off, let's say. All right. Any questions before moving on this estimate? I hope that provides. Okay.
The weight of the comparables, can we enter comps that are not our sales, and how much weight is given on those comps that are entered?
Great question, and that goes back to your profile. You want to add any past sales that you have in the area. You can also add that data, because as consumers even, and as real estate agents.
If it's not our sale, if there's comps in the neighborhood that we want to add to influence that estimate, is that something that we can do?
Yeah, we want all the data we can get. Yeah,
And then how much weight is given on that versus the tax records?
Ooh, now you're going down the engineer path, which is not my forte. That's like asking Google, their algorithm, right?
Right.
Yes, I didn't catch your name.
Reginald.
Nice to meet you, Reginald.
Nice to meet you. You said there was 212, I guess, clicks per second.
Homes viewed per
Homes
second.
viewed per second. How many of those homes are actually that are being viewed, or do you guys know that someone is actually looking to purchase, or is it
That's a great question. So we estimate that 75% of our traffic are active buyers and sellers in the marketplace. An active buyer and seller, that means that they're going to transact in the real estate market within the next 2 years. Some within the next month, and they're ready to pull the trigger because they're relocating. Others longer out for whatever reason.
Because the reason I ask that, because when refinancing, a lot of people go there to try to determine what they think their property value is.
Exactly, and a lot of appraisers do the same thing. A lot of investors do the same thing as well. And that really makes up about the 25% of our traffic. It's interesting to note, I mean, you probably have people use Zillow all the time. You know, I had a friend who used it back in Seattle, Washington, and he told me, yeah, I love Zillow. I can't believe you're working for them. I used it for the entire year that I was searching for my home. And then he goes, well, but I don't go on it anymore because he's renting. He's not looking for a home. So that gives you an idea, the people who are actually searching, and we can take a look at your main markets a little bit later. And I can actually show you the traffic data that each zip code here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is seeing, and how it relates to the Premier Agent Program and how you can capture leads as well. Can that help answer your question? For now. All right, listings. I'm sure you guys have all run into a stale listing, an out-of-date listing, incorrect information, right? Here's how we get our listings. First and foremost, franchise and broker feeds. So if we set up a feed directly with Waller Group, you guys will get your listings onto Zillow and can refresh when you update information anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. All right, that's gonna be the #1 source for our listings. The second is if we have a local partnership with the MLS, we get it directly from them. Third is technology partners, like Point2 Agent, some of the other ones, syndicating sources out there. And then manual uploads where you can go into your Zillow profile and actually upload it yourself. And then anytime you run across any misinformation on a listing, all you have to do is scroll down to the bottom and there'll be a box that says listing provided by, and then you can click on the link in there and it'll take you to the page where we're pulling the data from. And so if you find that your listing is, you know, off, the price is off, the square footage is off or whatever, click on that link, and then if you update it at the source, then it'll refresh on Zillow with the correct information. As you can see, here's a couple of our partners. So Zillow right now is powering MSN Real Estate, AOL Real Estate, Yahoo Homes, which is the 4th largest real estate marketplace online, Google Now, HGTV Front Door, and what we're most excited about in 2015 here is our partnership with Leju. Right now, about 15% of the marketplace is international buyers. Anytime a Chinese buyer goes online to search for a property in the United States, they are going to Zillow. And so we are connecting them directly with the local agents when they're ready to pull the trigger on property, let's say here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As you can see, audience continues to grow. And why it's a great time to come aboard now, sooner rather than later. You can see back in 2011 when we made the shift to mobile, our audience completely shot up. Right now, we have about, on average, 90 million unique users coming to the site every single month. How it relates to the competition, Trulia, the second largest online platform, is going to have roughly 50 to 55 million unique users, and Realtor.com and Move Inc. is going to have roughly a third of our traffic, so anywhere from 40 million unique users. All right. I usually play this commercial. Not too sure if everyone will be able to hear the sound. Well, let's give it a try. Doesn't look like it. Has anyone seen the Zillow commercials before? So 2 years ago, we started an advertising campaign. Our goal is to bring buyers and sellers to the site so that we can generate leads for you. That is the most important thing when we talk about how Zillow works for real estate agents. We're investing about $75, $80 million last year, a little bit more this year, in bringing those leads to you. All right, the topic of the end of last year, beginning of this year, the Zillow and Trulia merger, we're all becoming one big happy family. I can't talk too much because it is still pending FTC approval. It should close by the first part of this year. Like I mentioned earlier, we're excited to partner with Trulia because the audiences are very, very different. People searching on Zillow aren't searching on Trulia and vice versa. They do a lot of great things. A couple of things that'll come out of it: faster innovation, more targeted opportunities for you as real estate agents to generate those leads, improve listing infrastructure. So we look for that to close the first part of this year and then hopefully grow with you over the course of 2015. Any other questions on that?
So this is kind of like Google buying YouTube, in a way?
Yeah, in a way. In a way. It's going to be two very distinct brands. People who love Trulia and search within that platform, and vice versa. And the same with Realtor.com. People who swear by Realtor.com only search within Realtor.com. And so it's just going to be another part of the Zillow family, just like the Yahoo Homes network that we're powering. So how does Zillow help real estate agents? I've been saying it all along, connecting them with you, the local expert, to help them out when they're ready to buy or sell. What you can see right now, there's a couple of ways. With your free Zillow profile, if you add your picture, all your contact information, on your listings, you'll be above everyone else, and you'll be showcased there. The other place where you'll show up is the agent directory. And they can find you if they're searching a particular area that you service. Now, agents are successful on Zillow when their profile looks good. The top agents get reviews and have client testimonials on there, showcasing their negotiation skills, their market expertise, their customer service. Agents in stronger markets tend to have anywhere upwards 10, 20, 30 reviews, 100 plus reviews. All right, successful agents get the client testimonials on there. Even if you're not a premier agent and advertising with us, this is something that you can do on your own and get your clients to review you online. I mean, we all use Yelp, right? When it comes to searching for a restaurant, consumers who are doing their research or online are picking their agents based on what they read before even calling you. And then past sales. So you want to upload every past sale you've ever had in your career. It'll show up on the map on your Zillow profile, reflective of the past 12 months. So when you advertise with us, it'll showcase how many past sales you have within the past 12 months. And then when they click on you, then it'll showcase every single sale that you've ever had. And so you want to keep this up to date, again, to showcase your market expertise in a particular area. So I was going to show this video. Since sound isn't working, I'll just give you the quick overview. Brian and Dana, they've been longtime premier agents with us. They started out small and they've grown their business with us. it's a testimonial on the reviews. He received a call from a consumer that had researched them online, found their Zillow profile, read all the reviews. He picked up the phone. The consumer just wanted to ask him, did he work this market? Because she wanted to use him as an agent because of the client testimonials. And so that consumer had picked him before even picking up the phone. And then Dana talks about uploading your past sales and how a consumer goes, are they going to choose an agent that doesn't have any past sales or one past sale? Or are they going to choose an agent that has 6 or 7 in the area, or maybe even 30 to 40? So consumers are looking at those 2 most important factors, and that goes to some of the top successes of some of the agents. They maintain their profile. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How to become a premier agent. The advertising program is pretty simple. It's an impression-based advertising. So each zip code sees a certain number of impressions. 1 impression is where you show up as one of 3 agents in the zip code on your competitor's for sale listing right there. Now, you also get featured listings. Benefit of the featured listing is you get the exclusive contact, no other agent showing up on your listing, so you capture every single lead opportunity. Where the property is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it gets pulled to the top of the search on Zillow, and it will generate about 2 to 3 times more traffic than a normal free listing does. And then we make it real easy for the consumer to reach out to you. When we talk about quality versus quantity and lead generation, if we were talking 10, 15 years ago and you were spending your money on SEO and Google, you were doing an aggressive capture system where you were forcing the consumer to register, putting in their information before they even looked at the property online. It led to a lot of fake phone numbers, fake email addresses, and your conversion rate was well below 1% on those. So you had to get 100 leads to convert just 1 of them. Zillow's capture system, very, very passive. We're gonna make it easy for them. If they wanna reach out to you, they have to put in their contact information and they have to write a little blurb on what they're interested in. And that goes directly in to your back office and you capture that lead and you get a text, email, or phone call when that happens. And it also is good because when we feature you as a preferred buyer's agent and put you on your competitors for sale listings, the consumers only check marking 1 agent. So they essentially are choosing who they want to work with. That lead or that contact information is exclusive to you. It does not go to 2 or 3 other agents. And then, you guys are fighting for that person's attention and they don't even pick up the phone anymore, right? On the back end, here are some of the tools. You've got your campaigns. We want to make it easy for you to stay in front of your Zillow leads on a monthly, weekly basis, depending on where they are in the process. And then you also have the CRM system on the back end so that you can manage that process. Or if you're already using a great CRM system, Boomtown, some of the other ones, it can drop right directly into that and put it into your pipeline. When the buyer contacts you, you'll get the push notification on your phone, the call, email, text.
Is conversion one of your lead partners and top producer?
So what you're seeing right now, Tech Connect, we realized about a year ago that agents love using a bunch of different CRM systems. So what we've made it a point to connect to over 20 CRM systems where any lead that you get from Zillow, right into that box automatically. And I believe you guys are using Pipeline, right?
Right.
So we can easily connect that where it filters right into the system. And if you do it as an office, then obviously round robin or however. Yeah, price points, areas, it can really just determine how you want to do it. There are really 3 key success. Why an agent is successful on Zillow: strong profile with reviews and past sales. I can't stress it enough. Ability to respond fast to every call. Now I stress reviews and past sales because that's what the consumer is looking at. But at the end of the day, the people who have success on Zillow and report back to us that lead quality is good and that they're closing deals off of Zillow, it's based solely on follow-up. And the salesmanship of you as an agent. If you aren't reaching out to that agent that consumer within 5 minutes, you're going to lose that. It's just plain and simple. That agent can pick you, that consumer can pick you, choose you as the agent. If you don't call them back, then they're moving on. This is the most important piece of the puzzle. I can't tell you how important it is, because that's how you can capture the leads properly. And then once you get them on the phone, then it's about your conversation with them. A lot of times, if they're calling on a particular property, they're not gonna buy that property, right? How often do they buy the first house that we see? I did in my home search, but I'm an anomaly. So as you get them on the phone, it's about your scripts and how you then leverage value into their home search, so that then they know you as the go-to agent, and then you can put them in your pipeline. And we've got a lot of scripts and stuff to help you with that, so that any type of question that you would get from a Zillow consumer, you can put into your own scripts and use, so that you can increase your conversion. Right now, on average, we're running at about a 3% conversion rate. I have some agents who do 60% conversion on Zillow leads. So it really just depends on your follow-up and then what you say to that person when you get them on the phone. And then focusing on ROI and not spend. Investing anywhere from $200 to $2,000. It's really, at the end of the day, as you look over the course of the year and your advertising spend, what did you see on ROI? And so starting out on Zillow, we like to set the expectation of 1 to 2 deals that you get from Zillow. Everything on top of that is gravy. And as you see success, you start doubling down and investing in your markets and focusing in on where you want to do more business. Dave, he's been a Premier agent with us for a long time. Basically, he started out on a $150 spend all the way back in 2011. That has grown significantly. He closes on average anywhere from 25 to 26 Zillow deals that came directly from Zillow. And he talks about how, that little spend that got him started, he focused on just 1 deal out of it to make it worthwhile and then reinvest in it. With that being said, those 25 to 26 deals are new people that brought into his sphere of influence that didn't know him before. And now those are going to be referrals that are going to keep coming down the pipeline. So the value in Zillow is that new person that didn't know about you that you're helping out, because that's going to be the lifetime value that you're going to get out of that person and their sphere down the road. So who's ready to talk zip codes? I can pull it up. We can talk traffic. And then any other questions that you have for me on how agents are seeing success, I'd be happy to answer. Logan.
Where do the leads for the registrations, the forced registration when they want to save a search, or when it pops up on the property that they're viewing, are those considered leads? And are those going out to agents and being sold to agents, or is that just simply maintained internally and not being sold?
Great question. So as a consumer, you have a Zillow profile and you can save searches on certain properties. That email that goes out to them, let's say a new property comes up, we actually do Zillow, like agents in the area, we do brand those emails so you get additional exposure. And I think you're a Premier agent already, right, Logan?
Right.
So you'll notice in your advertising tab, if you look down at the breakdown of everything, you'll see like emails that go out and how many emails on a monthly basis are going out. Those are branded emails to Zillow users that are searching in your target markets that we've branded, and they've gotten your face in their inbox with all their information. But that doesn't count in terms of what you purchase in the impression-based model.
Okay, so those aren't, when they register, that's not being delivered to the agent as a lead.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Because again, it goes back to, we want to empower the consumer when they're ready to go, they're reaching out, as opposed to getting hit with spam.
So you're saying if you're advertising in an area, your face is gonna be on one of their emails that they receive saying, how you doing type thing?
Yeah, that's one component. So the thing about Zillow is it's not just a one-way street when it comes to advertising. Like, this is all you get. It's comprehensive, and we don't a la carte it or nickel and dime you. So what you technically are paying for is the impressions, securing the impressions in a zip code where you show up on your competitor's listing. But another piece of the pie is you are now a preferred listing agent in that zip code. So we farm that market. And if you go to a home on Zillow, or if you go to your own home to check the Zestimate, you'll notice that those 3 agents on the right side, those are agents that are advertising in that zip code that we've put right in front of you to capture any listing leads. And
Is that when someone do that, is that considered impression?
no, so this is something that we add to it, where we're putting you in front of those homeowners on their own home. And if they're interested in selling or they want advice on an updated CMA, they can choose you and then you get that seller lead. So that's in addition to the buyer impressions.
All right, so those aren't buyer's agents that are on that side to the right, that's a listing agent
Those are agents who are advertising in that zip code.
as buyers, or as the buying space.
Correct.
Okay.
So how many agents are being sold in a specific zip code?
Great question. Minimum 3. And then there is no cap on the number of agents. It really comes down to the slice of the pie. So for example, I'll take your zip code, Wes, 75056, right?
Yes.
Let me zoom in here and make it a little bit better. All right. So you're seeing all the traffic data that we see on our end. So in this zip code, there is 38,728 impressions. So that's how many times, if you as an agent wanted 100% of the current market traffic, I can show you on your competitor's for sale listing as one of those 3 agents. All right. Now you buy a portion of that. The minimum to get into a zip code is 15% of the traffic, and then you can buy as much of it that's available. So right now the 75056 is sold out. Wes is on wait list for it. But when it comes to how many agents are in an area, it really just depends on how much traffic is available and how much other agents buy and how much you buy. If you buy 100% of the traffic, you're gonna be seen every single time. And so you don't care how many agents are in a zip code because you're not competing. I mean, you're getting seen every single time. So it really just depends on how much exposure you buy. Does that help answer your question, Logan?
Yeah, so that 15% is, so, I mean, in essence, there could be 18 agents per zip code?
Yeah, so like in a lot of our zip codes down here, Houston is a great example, or Austin, there's well over 100,000 impressions in that zip code. You're gonna have anywhere from 20 to 50 agents in there because they're all buying a small piece of the pie. And when you talk about like your strategy for Zillow, you know, a lot of times you really have to look at your market and, you know, newer
So
agents.
I'm sorry, back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So how can there be that many agents if the minimum buy-in is 15%? I'm trying to figure out how. If the minimum buy-in is 15%, if everyone's doing the minimum and you're rotating between, but you're saying you can rotate as many as 100 agents through that zip code?
So let me go, here, let me pull this up.
So isn't it 100% times 3 because?
Correct.
Okay.
So because we show 3 agents, each spot is 100%, is let's say 100,000 impressions. And so if you bought, let's say 100% of the current traffic, 100,000 impressions, you'd show up as one of the 3 agents 100% of the time. And then other people buy a little piece of the pie and then rotate.
No, so how could there be 100 agents in one zip code if there's only, you're saying the 3 are rotated? I guess I'm still confused.
No, that's okay. Let me see if I can pull up a better example for you. Now, and I was just using that number as like 100 agents. Like there's no cap on how many agents it can be in there until the impressions are sold out. So for example, the 75056 here, Wes is on the waiting list because it's sold out. All the impressions have been taken up.
But the impressions are counted, there's 3 sold per zip code on that page, but then how many times are 3 rotated? If your minimum buy-in is 15%, then it's 15% of one of those,